Oh, I feel good.
I haven't slept for 3 days. I'm surviving off coffee. Starbucks coffee out of a can. Just kidding, I've slept, hasn't been that hectic, but I missed my video schedule that I put on myself that's every Monday and Friday this Friday because I have actually been super busy. I wanted to kind of make a video showcasing some of the testing stuff that I've been doing, right? There's my Ryzen test board with the P2000 on it, so I've been hard at work testing that, running some numbers, trying to figure out what its limitations is, both the P2000 and the Ryzen 3700X that I have. Yes, I know, Steve from Gamers Nexus, aka Tech Jesus, said that the 3700 is kind of an oddball CPU or doesn't really fit and there's better options out there. I get that, but I bought the best motherboard I could, and eventually I would like to get other AMD Ryzen 3000 CPUs to test, but I bought what was in stock and what I could afford. So here we are, I got a 3700. Anyways, very, very interesting test results are coming, hopefully on Monday. That's the schedule, that's the idea, Monday. But as you can see, I got a lot of stuff going on in the background right now. This is how I am testing. Look at that, look at all that. Look, just all those things. Yes. And before you say it, Wi-Fi can handle it. Okay, I've already proved that on Twitter for all you haters out there. Basically what it comes down to is that if my 10 pads can handle playing something direct play through my Wi-Fi system at 20 megabits per second each stream without stuttering, then it can definitely handle 2 or 3 megabits per second on each one. So I already know it can handle it. I've already tested this. I've verified that it's good. So the purpose of this video is to kind of give you an idea of what it's like to test something like this on my end, here at BMB headquarters, aka my basement. So here's your sneak peek. This is what the Ryzen build looks like. I actually ended up having to use the stock cooler, although I kind of like it. I mean, this thing performs really well. I'm not doing any overclocking at all. I'm just running everything at stock speeds. And when it comes to the whole Ryzen 3000s, they're already kind of pushing the limits. So there's not a whole lot of overclocking room anyway. It's still there, and I'll still get into it. But I found out that my all-in-one cooler does not reach all the way over. So I could not use the all-in-one cooler that I planned on. Good thing that came with its own cooler. And it looks good too, especially with the RAM and everything just kind of doing its thing. It's so pretty. So I have that hooked up over here, running the Plex Media server. Right now I don't have actually anything running on it because I've just finished some tests and I'm still in the process of encoding more testing video files. As you can see, I'm using a source that's a 4K source that I originally encoded down to 1080p, but it was in 10-bit and H.264, which is what I use so far primarily for my testing, but I do, as promised, want to test HEVC. So there you go, HEVC 5.1. Of course, I want the audio to be 5.1 because a lot of movies are 5.1. Unfortunately, that has an hour and a half on 1080. An hour left. That is so much. And that's not even the 4K 10-bit one. That's still waiting. I really should have did this last night while I was sleeping, but I was having issues. And those issues, I don't want to spoil too much for the video that I'm planning on doing on Monday, but those issues are going to be questioning GPU transcoding, possibly. And I'll get into it again on Monday, but I came into some interesting testing things while I was doing my stuff, and I really want to share that on Monday. I think it's going to be really interesting for some people to take into consideration when they're thinking about something like a P2000 to add to their Plex Media server. I am running everything on Windows 10 because getting Windows 10 to work with the graphics Quadro drivers and all that, and being unlocked and not having any complexities with the hardware acceleration, it's too easy to ignore. Yes, later on, I can try different operating systems. Yes, I can expand on these testings with a little bit more fiddling around, but right now I just need the test to be what they are, and I need them to work, and I need to not have any issues. So that's why I'm running Windows 10, and for all those test results, they're all going to be Windows 10. And then of course I have all of my tablets that I'm setting here for testing. I have my laptop, which is running off Wi-Fi, so it's only running one browser, one Plex Media player, so I was running 2 streams off of that. Then I got my iPad, which is a nice reflection to the light above me, running a combination of actually Chrome and Firefox, because one thing, I don't know if this was with everyone else, but one thing with me is that with anything about 5-ish streams with one browser, specifically Chrome, it starts to buffer and it starts to act like the server's having issues, but really it's the browser. So I also installed Firefox to run next to it. Over here behind the encoding window is 4 actual Chrome browsers, one Chrome browser right there, then these 3 are Firefox. And then up here, this is actually my DVR computer that's in the other room. I have it connected via HDMI. So this is running 4 different browsers and then the Plex Media Player on top of it. I think these are Chrome. And then, because Firefox actually seems more stable than Chrome when it comes to running multiple windows, I was actually able to run 4 additional Firefox windows up here, this is connected to the main computer. Like this screen, this screen, this screen, and that screen are all connected to my main computer. I just connected this screen, which used to be connected to my computer, into the computer in the other room. And I hooked it directly up to the DVR box, the Blue Iris Windows box, and then I use Synergy to use my mouse to go over there. So it's a nice setup, and I actually like it a lot. It's been a nice thing. And then over here, I only have one window, and I was thinking about installing another browser just because it seems like Firefox is starting to struggle right now. So I think I'm gonna install another browser, maybe even try to use Edge, even though Edge is Chromium based, I guess now, but still, I wanna get 4 more, because this is just a Plex Media Player. I wanna get 4 more screens on this, testing streams on this to go along with the tablet I have right here, the tablet I have right here, iPad, all those tablets, and then, yeah, everything I just showed you. I really wish I wouldn't run into browser issues while trying to load multiple streams. I feel like I should be able to load at least 10 windows with Chrome without it messing up. And maybe if I were to close some tabs, I wouldn't have this problem, but I refuse to close tabs. The struggle is real. But if you're not noticing on this screen right now, you see what's on there? You see that? You see right there? Yeah, I actually ended up making my own test file that is basically just pointing the camera across the pond on the shoreline. Some ducks show up, they make an appearance, they do their thing, they do duck stuff, they quack, and they sleep, I think, maybe eat. I don't know, whatever ducks do, party hard, through a rave, I don't know. Which, by the way, I want to thank everybody who participated last night in my little test. Basically, I want to be able to share these files just for anybody who wants to test their system against my numbers. I want to be able to share these files, and hopefully my 4K encoding goes as, like, it works the way I want it to. So I want to be able to allow others to benchmark their servers against my results. I think that would be an interesting, this is an idea from Joshua off Twitter, and also I think he's a Patreon subscriber now. Welcome, Josh. Hi. It was a good idea, and I wanted to create a 5.1 10-bit 1080 4K H.264 and H.265 encoded files. Basically test them all, get all the results, all the things, and then allow anyone else to test it against my system if they want to see how their server stacks up. So thank you everybody on Twitter who downloaded that torrent file that I created. That was just a test. I've actually never created, at least not in a long time, a torrent file. So I've never really had a reason to. So I created it, I shared it on Twitter, some people downloaded it. It looks like it went through. Obviously the first initial download where it's just coming from mine, I'm limited at like 40 megabits per second upload speed. So obviously that first initial share was slow, but I think it was a lot faster for everybody afterwards, after people started getting it. So I will be updating that. I will create a new torrent file, something that's going to have multiple files in it that will allow some people to download maybe only what they want, or they can download the entire thing. It's up to them. But I do want to share that, and maybe hopefully there'll be enough like normal seeders to keep that alive for however long somebody wants to, possibly download it. I mean, I'll try to keep it alive as well for a while, but I think after the initial seeding, maybe after the initial few days, I'll be limiting the bandwidth so it's not eating up all of my bandwidth and uploading all the time and doing, drastic things to my network. Now I ended up running some other tests because I don't have my 4K video file yet. That's part of the problem that I was running into. So again, I'll probably address that in the P2000 video, I don't know. I did use some other video files, but those are not copyright free, so I can't really share those or do too much with that. That's where it's going to come in handy, being able to share the exact file, know exactly what it is, and I have encoded my 1080p stream, that test file, the one that I actually used, this one right here, 1080 at 15 megabits per second, H.264, 5.1 surround sound, I believe, maybe, yeah, H5.1. I encoded this a couple different times to try to get the end results to match up as closely as possible to the file that I used before, which is Back to the Future. The Back to the Future file has given me a lot of results in the past, and it's kind of been my go-to file, but again, it's not really copyright free, so I can't be like, hey, everyone go out and try this file because it's unique to me. So it's just one of those things. It's hard to be a standard if you can't share what you're actually doing. So again, good idea. But I got it to be where the results are the exact same between the two demonstration files, meaning that I can get the same amount of transcodes at the same time with the Back to the Future file and the duck file. I don't know. I'm gonna call it the duck file, maybe. Demo file, duck file. I don't know. Where's the ducks? Where's the ducks? There they are. There's the ducks. It is not the world's most exciting video. It really is not. I created this in haste. And believe it or not, this video cost me a lot more than I wanted it to because I accidentally deleted some footage, and that's kind of an embarrassing thing for me. But yeah, ducks. I like this file because half the screen is moving water, moving pixels, so it's a complicated video to play. Some of this is pretty still, half of it is pretty still, but half of it's constantly moving. So I like the file. It's definitely nothing that's going to be a blockbuster anytime soon, but I like the end results. I would have liked something a little bit more complicated and creative, maybe some close-ups of some ducks or some other animals, but I'm in a rush, so that's what I got. Now this video file is 45 minutes long, 44 minutes long for a reason, and that is because when you're testing and you're trying to get streams to run and you've got to troubleshoot or get something or do something, sometimes it just takes time. So having a demonstration file like the bunny file, for example, you can download all these pre-encoded files to test H.264, 265, etc. And if you download all those files, they're like a minute or 2 minutes long. So if you have to restart all these streams all the time, it's going to complicate ending test results. But having a video file that's like 45 minutes long gives me plenty of playtime to allow me to get things up and running and troubleshoot things, which I've had to do, especially with the GPU transcoding. So yeah, it's good to have this file this long, and it's almost a necessity, and that's another reason why I created this. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up the whole testing experience, kind of showing you what I'm using to get some of these test results, you know, how I'm getting so many transcodes at the same time, you know, my testing methods, and kind of covering why I created the own file, or the testing file that I want to share with people. So just in case the select few out there who want to test your stuff against mine, I want to make that possible with the exact same file. In the end, I actually think that I have some pretty interesting results to share and a different conclusion than I actually thought I would have. So I'm excited to make that video and share what I found and even some of the thoughts around the whole P2000 thing. So yeah, hopefully Monday. I'm looking towards Monday. That's the goal. If everything goes right, Monday is the goal. And the biggest thing that can't go right is gonna be this stupid file, because I don't wanna publish this video without proper 4K testing. And if I can't get the right file type, then it might be delayed. Well guys, that's it for today. If you are a Patreon subscriber, don't worry. I actually got a little bit more footage for the monthly Patreon video that should be released after LTX. So there's a little bit more footage of actual testing as it's going down. Right now I'm doing encoding, so I'm not doing testing. But there is more footage that you'll find in that video. It's just gonna be later this month after LTX. But thank you everybody for watching. Of course, like and subscribe if you want to know more about the P2000 and about Ryzen. Definitely hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or anything that I should fine tune as I go along throughout the weekend, post them down below. So everybody, have a good weekend.